Hello and welcome. I'm Excellite. This is my channel, and obviously I'm doing a podcast, so there must be Rob here. Hello, Rob.
Hey Tracy, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Still here, still breathing.
It's been so long since we did a podcast, Rob, that I couldn't get into my account.
I updated mine the other week, so I thought
Did
it
you?
might be that.
Who were you Skyping the other week?
No, it um, just got a notification that it needed updating.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't get one. Or maybe I did. And I ignored it. I do not know, but it was a little bit frustrating. It makes me nervous because you were sitting there waiting for me, and I'm like, did he think I fell asleep?
no, I thought it might be that.
Well, I want to say hello to everybody. It has been a minute and a half since I've done a video, and we're going to talk about that today, aren't we, Rob?
We certainly are. We
So,
certainly are.
before we get started on that, how have things been going for you? How has the year been since the last time I did a podcast with you?
A lot has changed. A
A
lot
lot
has
has
changed.
changed.
A lot has stayed the same.
Anything you want to tell anybody about?
Just the girls are get a year older.
Yeah.
Um, yes,
This is Grace's last few months in regular school.
it is. Yeah, she'll be 16 in a couple of months. Keisha will be 14 in a few weeks.
Hmm.
So yeah, they're both growing up and they're both getting. Grace will be off to college soon.
Yeah, see, in the United States, we're in school till we're 18, and then we go to college.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it? Very different education system between America and the UK.
Seems like the UK just is more ready to say, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
It's time to go.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. In the United States, we keep our kids home till they're grown ass adults. Anyway, well, my year has been a year since we did it. Um, I haven't been particularly healthy, neither have you, and that's one of the reasons why we're talking today,
Yeah,
right? So I put up a um, video before we did the 31 days of Halloween. So it was sometime in September. I want to say maybe the middle of September, and I said that I was not doing well mental health wise. As you know, there's been uh, some stuff for the past couple of years that has been difficult for me. Um, Life stuff, and I haven't been healthy health wise. I was in the hospital last week, and for the last 6 weeks, I started iron infusion 6 weeks ago, and which doesn't help, by the way, your regular health or your mental health when you don't have any iron. You know,
yeah.
oxygen in the brain is underrated. It's a really important thing, turns out. Uh, and before I got tested, everything I just kept saying to Rob, "I'm stupid. I'm dumb. How come I'm dumb? I'm so dumb." Well, that was why. My brain was like, "Not today, bitch. Nope. Not gonna remember that actor's name. Not gonna remember the name of that flower. Not gonna remember my social security number." So I've been doing that, and uh, I need to take a break from the XLI channel. I need to focus on self care, um, mental health wise. I just, it's very hard to stay in the muck of dark subjects.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not gonna lie, I'm I'm a true crime fan. I watch the documentaries. I do all that stuff. But for me to get in and do the what's the word I'm looking for?
Missing
Homework
person.
on it. The what?
Oh, yeah. I was just jumping ahead there. Sorry.
Yeah, to do get in and do the homework and the word I'm looking for, by the way, I'm still dumb. Is I don't know. I don't know. To find out the facts and delve into the people involved and that kind of stuff. Research. Thank you.
Reese.
That two of my brain cells just rubbed together. Research um, doesn't help when I'm in a place that is not that great mental health wise. And I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into the whys and the who's and the whats. My husband and I are great. It's nothing like that. Like, you guys just, it's not my job to get on here and burden you with my personal issues. But they do affect whether I can be on here or not. Does that make sense, Rob?
It does. It's not as though um, you're doing subjects like flowers and bunnies.
Yeah.
And soft and squidgy things that are lovely to feel, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of the time. Well, it is dark and it is difficult um to the background that you have to do to look to research all these things. It's difficult.
Yeah. And I see photos that I don't post on my channel
Yeah.
because, you know, um, they wouldn't be
Each.
allowed, and
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. But I do go through those to pick out ones that I can. Um, so yeah, and then I'm super empathetic person, so you can't just do a story like that and be like, okay, next, you know, or I guess I'll go wash the dishes now. You know what I mean? It's just well, like I said, it's a dark thing, and I need to concentrate on bringing in light stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I'm not closing my channel for good. I because I cannot, because I am still making notes of of videos I want to do. Just
Yeah.
need a break for right now. Um, but if you have a documentary you guys want to see, now Natalia Grace, if you guys haven't seen it, it's in two parts now. The first part is a little person who was adopted. She was like 6 years old. Um, for reasons that aren't known in the first part, they're they're told by the side of the family that adopted her. So you see this thing. Um, they aged her. They went to court and had her re-aged to the age of an adult, 22 years old, and she was 8 when they did that. And then they put her in an apartment and virtually left her alone. She didn't. So you'll go through the first part of this documentary and you'll be like, oh, I have this set opinion of this situation, and then you're gonna the second part of the documentary just came out. I wish I knew what it was on Hulu, Netflix, something, maybe Netflix, something like that. You just Google how can I watch Natalia Grace speaks out, and anyway, so you go in, you think, oh, I know how I feel about this, and then this is her version of what happens, and then you're thinking, maybe I don't know how I feel about this, and by the end, you are have been on a roller coaster, and if you haven't buckled up, I'm telling you that the last 20 seconds of this second part of this documentary is going to knock your socks off. So at the end, you will be like, I don't know what the f I just watched, and and for some reason I love that. I love documentaries when I go in and I'm like, okay, first half of the documentary, I'm like, I feel black about this, and then you get the second part where the like other parties get to start talking, and you're like, I feel white about this, and then pretty soon it's like, mm, kind of gray about this. You know, I love things that can like change, pull me out of my comfort zone and make me go, I wow. So if you guys are looking for like a true crime thing, it's not about murder, but it is crazy AF. I highly recommend it. Do not speed up to the last 20 seconds of the end of this video, of the end of that documentary. Do not do it because it will not hit you the same. Watch it, and the last 20 seconds, I'm not, the payoff is there. So, you too, Rob. You too. You should watch it.
Okay.
Um, I've been
I've
watching
not
a
seen
lot
it
of,
on our Netflix, so it mustn't be out on our Netflix yet.
yeah, you might have to watch it on something else. I know it's not on Prime. It might be on Max. I don't know. I don't think you guys have Max, but you must have something.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys over there, you know how to work a computer and some Google. Uh, anyway, so I have been watching some really good documentaries. Right now, I'm watching one something about cults, a Mormon sect of a cult that is in Mexico. Crazy AF. The crazier the better, in my opinion. Seriously, the more episodes, the better, because then you know it's going to be off the rails. In some strange way, that makes me happy.
Well, I've been watching, and it's 2024,
Yeah,
and at last, at long last, it's been on for about 70 years. We
70.
have 70.
Oh, okay.
We we have finally got a black Doctor Who.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I know nothing about Doctor Who.
Oh, Doctor
Not
Who.
a single thing.
I love Doctor Who.
Is it really good?
Yeah, yeah. It's
I
the
mean, it's very
Daleks.
popular.
Oh yeah. I remember watching it as a kid when it was black and white, and it used to be hiding behind the sofa to watch it.
Really?
Yeah, it was because there was. You got to remember, because we're the same age. There
No, we're
was
not.
nothing. Well, on our TV, we only had three channels when I was a kid, but we only had two channels originally. And then Doctor Who came out in black and white, and it was the first science fiction program that was on the TV. So even though we you look back at the episodes now, and they're really bad.
Cheesy.
Yeah, it you had nothing to compare it to, so it was like, what is going on? The Daleks and Cybermen and all
I
the different.
never watched black and white TV. Like, like I never. they would do this week in the summer when nothing was on, and they would do like shows that my mom had grown up with that were black and white, and they would do a whole week all day long of those kinds of shows, and that was the only way I saw black and white TV. Um,
Oh gosh.
Unless it was on a black and white television, which I had in my room, a tiny one, but I never saw like actual this is current TV black and white.
Yeah, because uh, I'm the next door neighbour, my Auntie Hazel. She wasn't really an auntie.
Hmm.
She got a colour telly, and she got the first colour telly on the row,
Oh, really?
and um, it was crazy. It was like unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I told you about we rented our TV off this place called Me's Radio, and we had to put
Coins.
50p's in the back of the telly, and the picture would just go off. And you used to put another 50p in, and then every Friday the guy used to come and empty the back. That's how you paid for your telly.
That it, when you tell me that story, it feels like you lived in the dark ages. Like you were rubbing sticks together to start fires. That doesn't seem like my lifetime was nothing like that. Like
She's, well, we were born in '68, weren't we?
I don't know what year you were born in, but I was not. I'm not the same age as you.
Yeah, it was like the Dark Ages compared to now.
I mean, it was like the Dark Ages compared to where in the United States.
Yeah,
Very strange to hear you talk about that because I, I don't think that anybody I know for a fact nobody had to put in money to watch the TV in their home because my grandparents had television always, and they never when I
the
was growing up and little they didn't have to put money in it.
we had to put money in the gas and electric as well.
You did?
Yeah, gas. Yeah, like 50p or a pound, or not a pound because we didn't have pound. We only had pound notes. It was 50p's. You just have to put in the gas and electric. And
50
it was
p's.
like a
Is that like pennies?
50. It was a 50 pence piece, which was like
Pence.
it's like a hexagon shaped thing, a penny. We still have them today.
They're pennies though.
No, it was just one coin, but it was worth 50 pennies.
It was worth 50 cents. Got you.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Okay, I get it. Okay. That's a lot. Even the payphones didn't cost that much.
Oh, we didn't have a phone for years. We didn't have people. My grandparents would ring up the call box. People would walk past. They would answer the phone and they would say, "Can you go and get such a body from number 20?" And they'd knock on the front door and say, "There's a call for you at the phone box."
A phone box. Is that like a phone booth?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that like what Doctor Who goes into?
That's an old police box. That's what they used to have years ago. But these were just small, little, tiny things with one phone in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
have a.
a phone booth. That's interesting. It blows my mind.
Nobody had phones in their house.
Well, I never didn't have a phone in my house, but when we moved out to the country, then like we couldn't get call waiting. We couldn't get cable out there. It was like it was like rubbing sticks together, I thought, because I had stuff like that. Then I went out in the country. I was like, what? And then we had to share our phone with other people in the area, and so it was what was it called? Then you shared the phone. Anyway, other people were able to use that line, so you'd pick up the phone to call someone, and there'd be someone on there talking, and you were supposed to hang up. The key word being
Party line.
supposed. Party line, yeah. Key word being supposed to hang up. And as a child, this was an awesome adventure. Me and my
So when you
cousins
was a
would listen and along people's conversations. Guess what?
when you were a child, did you have cable? Was cable a thing?
Cable wasn't a thing until I was Mm, the first thing I remember about cable was MTV. We had, uh, it was MTV. That was one of the first cable channels. And um, the first thing I remember about it is Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Thriller.
And we could not get cable. We didn't get cable out of my house. I had already moved out of the house. I moved out at I want to say 19, and I don't think my mom got cable out there until I was, I don't know, 23, 22, 23. So if wanted to watch cable, I had to go to my boyfriend's house after school because I went to a high school that was about an hour and 15 minutes away from where I lived. It was dead smack in the city. So everybody there had cable, but I was a country bumpkin. So
I,
I didn't get cable till I moved out of my house, and then I was too poor to afford cable. So I think I got cable when I was 20. I think I got cable when I want to say 23 years old.
I remember
I got
Michael
cable.
Jackson's video coming out, the Thriller one, and we all waited up because it was on at 12 o'clock at night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on MTV.
Well, then they
And
played it what like every 30 minutes.
I know, you just kept replaying it, didn't they? Because it was the
Yeah.
first music video, wasn't it?
Well, no, it wasn't the first music video. Radio Killed the Video Star was the first music video, but
All
it was
right,
the first one where they made it like instead of just
movie.
watching people stand up there and like sort of white people dance, uh, it was it was a production. It was a movie. I mean, it stands
Yeah,
up to this day.
yeah, it's still. What we watched it the other week, actually, me and the girls.
You watched Thriller?
Yeah,
Did you?
yeah. We were talking about video. We were talking about yeah. We were having a conversation like we're having now, actually.
Mm.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. So I would go over to my boyfriend's house. I'd ride the bus, go to his house. We would watch Thriller 100 times and make nachos, chips with cheese on it, really. And then my parents would pick me up over there. So that was how I was able to watch any cable. And it was a huge mistake because within a year I may or may not have become pregnant. It wasn't all Michael Jackson.
So before you got cable
Yeah,
in your house at home,
yeah.
how many channels do you have originally?
Oh, we had three channels: ABC, CBS, NBC, and then the public channel, which was um, I can still remember to this day, Channel 7. My channels were 2, 4, 6, and 7. And that had like Mr. Rogers and stuff on it. It's public broadcast channel, so it's paid for by donations and stuff. And did you guys have Mr. Rogers?
Not that I remember.
Oh, you'd remember. I mean, it was Sesame Street. Did you have Sesame Street?
We did later on.
Oh, well, Sesame Street was on PBS and stuff. So we had that for when I was really, really little. And so when I'd stay home from school sick, that's what I would watch, that channel. It, we got VHS, VH1, VH1. Sorry, not VHS. Oh my God. VH1 when I was about, I want to say 15 years old. And they played music videos.
Yeah.
And so we could watch that because that came before MTV did. And then that started just airing like TV programs for some reason. Um, so yeah, then we had five, but I was pretty old by the time I got five. But just our regular, CBS, NBC, ABC, and then the public broadcasting, so four. But nobody really counts that public broadcasting, I don't think. Not unless you were little and you were home and you were sick, because that's the only time anybody watched it. They played
Yeah.
a lot of British stuff on there. There's a
Oh,
famous British show that was played on there all the time. Can't think of it, but you
what
would
was it
definitely
about?
know it. I don't know. I didn't watch that shit. I was 7. I mean,
We had
come on.
3 channels. We had BBC One,
Hmm.
BBC Two,
Wait,
and then
BBC 3.
no ITV.
Oh, okay.
And then when I was about 15 or 14, 15, we got Channel 4, which was sort of the alternative channel. And I used to have all weird stuff on it.
Ah,
And then we got Channel 5 years later. I don't know how old I was then, but Channel 5 was just, it was, we had weird channels. And then obviously Sky came along, what we call your cable, we call Sky, when you got the
uh,
satellite dishes.
oh.
It was really
Well, I didn't.
expensive when it first came out.
Well, I satellite dishes weren't until I was like a full-on adult. Well, sorry. I think they had them, and then they were the size of the moon,
Yeah,
and I never had one of those. I didn't get one until it could be it was little and attached to the side of your house. So
yeah.
I was in my 30s by then. This was an odd path to go down. We were on New Year's Eve. We were talking to my son about um, the same kind of stuff that apparently you were talking to your kids about, and explaining things like 9/11 to Josh, and you know, like we got the first microwave in our neighborhood, and it was the size, half the size of a refrigerator, and so we were explaining like these, things to him, like how to talk on the phone if you wanted to have privacy, you would take the phone with its wound up cord far, far, far away. But if you just went that little extra bit too far, then the phone would be pulled right out of your hand,
Yeah,
slam up against something in the kitchen. So I was like, I knew exactly where how far the phone could go without it being ripped out of my hand. And he's like, man, I just can't even picture this.
we did have privacy, didn't we?
Oh, we didn't have privacy. Well, but
When
this,
you
well, not in the house, no.
no, no, everybody. Well, just thinking about that when you was talking about the phone, there was no such thing as privacy when you were at home.
No. And I would literally take the phone out front to our balcony and sit on the balcony and talk if I wanted to have any privacy, but I had to leave the phone open because you couldn't close the door because it had the cord. Um, at my house, we ate meals together, we watched TV together,
Yeah,
but that was all after dark. Before then, nobody knew where the F we were, and nobody cared. In America, they had this thing come on. I'm not kidding you. At 10 o'clock at night, and it said, "Do you know where your children are?" That's how fucked up our parents were. They had to be reminded by the TV. Hey, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? Oh shit, I have kids. Can you imagine? So stupid. But I wouldn't see my. I would leave 8 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't see my parents until well after dark on the summers, or weekends. I
yeah.
loved it. I loved it. I loved being feral. Kids should have a little more feral in these days.
Yeah.
A little less electronics and a little more feral. Taught me a lot of lessons, like how to break into a lock, for instance, how not to get caught smoking. You know, important lessons in life. But no, seriously though, like problem solving. You had to problem solve. You couldn't call somebody. You couldn't look it up on the internet. Now, if I can't figure out something, I Google, like, how do I reset my password on whatever, or how do I change my privacy settings on whatever. But when you're feral and you're out alone with you and your friends and you can't figure something out, you figure it out, you know? So I think that our generation is pretty good problem solvers.
Yeah. Don't know the bone now.
Huh?
You don't know the bone now, the kids.
You don't know they're born?
Yeah. Oh, it's a British saying. They don't know how lucky they are. Sorry.
Oh, uh, yeah, you don't really, you don't have to tell me. I know. Then we became parents and went way overboard. Like, helicopter parents was when we started. And I don't know. I loved growing up. And especially since I grew up out in the country, we'd go 20-mile bike rides and wouldn't think twice of it. And I loved it. I had a good, as far as that goes, as long as I wasn't around my mom, I had a good childhood.
Yeah.
Worked out.
I remember talking to the girls about, we were talking about music and talking about like the top 40 songs. And I said, well, when a record used to come out,
Hmm.
and they were like, what's a record? They didn't know what a record was.
Oh, the records are back in now.
I know. That's what I said to them. I said, they're coming back in now, vinyl. Well, what's a record? What's a tape? They know what a tape was. Tape cassette. And it's weird to think that they just don't get, because obviously we grew up with vinyl and with
Yeah,
cassettes. When I mean, I can remember when cassettes first came out.
me too. Me too.
They were
Well,
like
first off,
amazing.
they were before it went from vinyl to 8 tracks, which were weapons. You could use them as weapons, and then to cassettes. And I saw this thing on TikTok the other day that said, like you're a certain age if you know, and there's a cassette, and then there's a pencil next to it. Because remember, you used to have to like it would like the
Wind,
cassette could get loose, and you could put a pencil in it and
wind it up,
tighten it
yeah.
up. Yeah, I just use my fingers, but whatever. And yeah, we were talking. Telling my son, I was like, it was New Year's Eve. Uh, we were downstairs. We did this charcuterie board, and then the board game, um, and then we had a sparkling cider for the new year and stuff. The point of the story is we were playing Journey on from JD's phone onto a speaker, and I said, oh my God, I saw this concert. And do you remember when concerts cost $10? You could see Journey for $10, and I mean, you can't see Taylor Swift for less than $300. And I was naming off all these concerts that I went to, and he's like, $10? Well, yeah, concerts used to cost $10. Even the huge groups, I mean, they might be $12, but we got to see. I here in this country, I got to see through my teen years a lot of huge groups because it was $10.
Yeah.
Which even back then wasn't even back then my parents were like $10, fine. I wasn't allowed to see REO Speedwagon though because they had heard whenever it starts off, oh, I've heard, it's going to go bad, that people had sex in the aisles during an REO Speedwagon concert. I'm like, what? Are you effing kidding me right now? Do you know who REO Speedwagon is?
I've heard of it. I wouldn't know any of the
Oh,
songs.
oh God, they're all slow and they have like they they don't sing their R's like you're supposed to sing R's. They sing it like this,
Okay.
and it in the long run, it was better that I didn't go because I can't stand them now. But super popular. But yeah, I was like, uh, no one's having sex in the aisles at concerts. I think you're thinking churches. Oh, what?
Oh,
Oh, Rob, that was dark. I think you're talking about youth groups, my friend. Whole other story. But I wasn't a Catholic, so I didn't have nuns around. They keep you in line.
oh well.
Anyway, we got way off track, didn't we?
I don't know where what rabbit hole went down this time.
I don't know. Did you have a good Christmas?
I had a really nice Christmas. Thank you. It
You
was
went
really
out
fun.
for Christmas
We
lunch.
went for a meal. Yeah, in a place called Lou, which is
Not a
um,
bathroom.
oh, it's a beautiful place. Um, yeah, it was. We had a good time. We had a really good time. Probably one of my
I
best Christmases.
really? It was one of your best Christmases?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
love
This
that.
year.
Well, it was me, my husband, and one child, my youngest son, who's an adult. He's 21. We went to this ice sculpture thing at this hotel called the Gaylord Texan. I think there's three Gaylord hotels, and I know everybody's 13-year-old sense of humor just went off. I know, I get it. But go look them up. They're stunning, top notch, stunning. Ours looks like it's like a, I don't know how to explain it. They have the Alamo inside, kind of like the Alamo, but it's also like Alamo slash log cabin. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, we went there for this ice sculpture thing that was the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and it was 9 degrees Fahrenheit. So I don't know what that is Celsius, but I think it's cold as fuck. So, what is 9 degrees Celsius? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, so it's like way below freezing. So cold that I was taking pictures to put on my Instagram, and my phone died because it was like, I'm out of here. No. That's how cold it was. But it was amazing. It was amazing. At the very end, I showed you pictures. I put them on my Instagram too of the nativity scene and this like 15-foot archangel. Uh, it was, and that those were clear. They didn't have colored eyes. Stunning. I mean, really breathtaking. My son was like, that was my favorite part. That was stunning. And so we did that a couple days. We did that on Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, we went out for a lovely meal. The same place we went last year where my son caught COVID. Or uh, maybe I can't say that. Whatever, already did it. Um, and then we went back to the Gaylord on Christmas for a 7:30 p.m. dinner, and it was stunning. The place is stunning. It they go balls to the walls for Christmas, and it's breathtaking. And so that was lovely, lovely. I had the best sparkling water I've ever had in my life, which is a very weird thing to say. and I can't believe it's coming out of my mouth. So because of that, I've been trying to track it down, but I got stuck on this bottling water that if you're from Texas, you've ever been to Texas, you know someone who lives in Texas, or you've ever seen any social media from Texas, you know that if you live here, you drink the sparkling water called Topo Chico. It's from a sparkling spring in Mexico, but they produce it here in Texas. And I put like part of I do a lime wedge, squeeze all the pulp out of the lime wedge because I like pulp. I'm a pulp girl. Squeeze it into the Topo Chico, and I'm addicted. And it's not the right water. I have to call the restaurant. I told you I'm going to call the restaurant. I'm going to ask them what sparkling water because it was so sparkling that it like burns your mouth, which in that pleasant way. That makes sense. That makes sense to everybody who ever gets a Coke at McDonald's. That's what their Cokes do, right? To burn your mouth in a really pleasant sort of way. Well, that's what this water was like. Stayed that way through the entire meal. Through, you know, we had um, different breads at first, then we had appetizers, and then what you guys call starters, right?
Yeah.
And then our meal and dessert stayed like that, stayed burning the whole time. It was lovely. And so then we came home and opened presents about 9:30 at night. So we had the place all set up before we left with Christmas trees. I have a whole bunch of these. There's like they're fake candles, but they look like they're real, but they're not. All over my house, all lit up, and we had a fireplace on the TV with Christmas music playing, and it was like so Christmassy. It was lovely. I had a lovely one too. What'd you do for New Year's?
We just had a bit of a party here, really.
Yeah.
Me, Keisha stayed with her friends. Grace came here.
Uh-huh.
We 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 had a, just quiet, really. It was nice.
I had a nice quiet one too. We taped the football game while we were downstairs. Then we watched it when we got back. Then there was football the next day. Our football season is coming to an end,
All right.
which uh, actually gives me anxiety because football is something my dad loved. You know, my dad passed away um, in March of 2020 when COVID. I said it again. Then that thing started, and he passed away from it. And uh, I got I then they for some reason they played like I don't know why old football games. Well, because they couldn't do any sports, so they would replay old football games on TV,
Yeah.
and I would watch them. And the I, well, I've always found football announcers to be very calming and soothing voices. So I would watch. I would even if I wasn't watching, I would listen, have it on in the background, and then when football started, I have my dad's ashes, and they're sitting like a few feet from me, and I'd be like, "Okay, Dad, we're gonna spend some time together." I also got hooked on Shark Tank for 3 months, because I'm apparently a strange griever, and whatever it takes, I say, whatever it takes.
Yep.
And then so I'm an avid football watcher. 3 days a week, I'm there. I'm watching football. Even if I'm not watching it, I'm listening to it. You can ask me all kinds of questions about football players, football coaches, football plays, you name it. I know it. It's bizarre. And then I talk to my dad. That's weird.
That's normal to do that. You're not a strange griever or anything like that. It's just what you need to do to get through. You do whatever you need to do to get through, and you've done really, really well.
So we have these. We don't have conversations, But I'll be like, oh my God, did you see that thing? Holy shit. That was a miracle. Jay, my husband laughs at me. I'm not saying it to him. Talking to my dad. I know you saw it. You're sitting there. But was my dad paying attention? That's what I'm asking. Anyway, so it makes me sad. So stupid. Are we being recorded right now?
Pardon?
I said, are we being recorded right now?
I think we may be, yeah.
Anyway, I'll wait till September now.
This
You know me, I
this
don't like the
is,
summer anyway.
hey?
I said, you know me, I don't like summer anyway, so I just put my nose to the grindstone until it gets to be September.
It is difficult. This is one of the reasons why you want to take a break, because it is hard. It when we do these podcasts, when you do the videos, you're doing so much work, and it in a I can't think what the word is, but inevitably it's going to bring up different emotions when you're talking about loss and you're talking about people going missing, and then when we do the actual podcast, we always end up going down these rabbit holes where we do become very personal,
Yeah,
and it is difficult and it is hard.
yeah, yeah. So about the break, it's gonna be a break, and I don't know, I don't know how long. I'm going to be doing another project that has to do with um, grief, and that'll be on. I think that's going to be on YouTube too, which is still another dark subject, but it's not going to be geared towards darkness as opposed to how do you get through this situation and come out healthy, you know. And so I think my intention is not that it's a dark subject as opposed to it's a normal subject that we should talk about instead of keeping it hidden. And I think that's worse for mental health issues is that people, especially men, I would say, are told what's okay and what's not okay, how it's okay to grieve, how it's not okay to grieve, what's okay, how long is it okay to grieve, you know, um, there's all these societal rules that it feels like, and I want to talk about like f that, you
Yeah,
know, um, it's not going to be about the loss of my father, but something similar, and like we got to do what we got to do, you know, that's how you get through it, and you don't have to care what other people think. Like I don't, if other people think it's weird that I watched Shark Tank for hours for 3 months, fuck them, you know, or whatever what I'm doing now to get through stuff. I don't need somebody's approval, and there's no timeline, and you know, but and you do know because I vent all of this to you. So it's kind of I want it to be like a light on, hey, we can be who we are and react how we react. And what is your advice? What are you going through? How do you do this? How do you deal with this?
I think that's the problem with people when you go to therapy. There's
Hmm.
Everybody's got to fit in a box. That you have to do,
Yes,
or that you're advised to do this, that, and
yes,
do this, do this, do this, do this, and it doesn't
yes,
work because everybody needs to deal with stuff. If it means
yes,
watching football and talking to your dad, or if it means
yeah,
watching Shark Tank, and that's working for you. How can I tell you how to grieve?
right. right. In the last couple of years, I've discovered painting and drawing, and um, I haven't been able to write since my dad died, but painting and drawing and decorating things. That's I have gotten into like uh, lotions and balms and facial stuff and just like stuff that makes me feel like I'm taking care of me. Um, and a lot of the stuff counseling does not work for me. I do not fit into a box. If I want to buy a special um, body butter and put that on my legs and it makes me feel happy and I get through the day, then that's I don't have
It's
the
just a
right.
way of expressing yourself, isn't it?
Yes,
Because grief is an expression.
yes,
Grief
yeah,
is an expression, and getting if you do a beautiful painting, that's an expression as well.
right, yeah. So I love that. I found these reverse coloring books, and I'm telling you, if you're going through some shit and you want to zone out, put your headphones in or earbuds or what are they called? What am I things called? AirPods? Whatever. Put them in. Listen to whatever you like. I made a whole playlist of music that has all the feels to it, and I do this reverse coloring book. It has color on the pages. You draw what you want on there, and I look up an hour later, and I have discovered that my watch thinks I'm asleep when I'm doing it. It it helps me so much to just I can't meditate because I can't handle it when somebody like to listen to meditation. Somebody's like breathe in 8, breathe out 7, and it becomes all about me not hyperventilating, and I just can't do stuff like that. But this is something I found that lets me disappear. I eventually don't even hear the songs anymore. I'm doing this thing where I just draw these tiny, tiny lines and tiny, tiny designs. Cover this whole page. It takes me days,
Is that
and
not a type? Is that not a type of meditation though?
that's what I'm saying. For me, that to me is meditation.
Yeah,
I'm focusing. I'm deeply focusing. I'm clearing my mind. But if I do want to go over a situation that I can't, it's hard for me to face head on. While I'm doing that, I can. It helps me to see it from farther away without all the emotion. You know, if you're sitting there in the forest and all you can see is the trees, that's all you can smell too. You know what I mean? So if I'm farther away like a drone and I can see the issue I'm trying to push through and don't know how to respond to, I can see it from a farther away and look at it more logically
it's
and
like
less
taking a step back in
emotionally.
it.
Yeah, it's I can't tell you how good this reverse coloring book thing has been for me, and really helping me get through stuff and move through, and it's just been great. So I mean, so yeah, I know everybody out there has a problem. I know, and when I posted that video in September, man, somebody told me that they wanted to unalive themselves that day until I made that video and they heard that they're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. Everybody has something. Everybody has a story, and that's why I want to do this grief thing because you feel like you're alone because everybody puts a mask on and nobody wants to talk about it. It's all secret. It needs to be private, held within your family, and bullshit. You know, I've changed the way I dress. Like Rob can tell you, I'm a little bit Wednesday Adams. I changed the way I dress where I feel like it's fun. I literally send Rob photos of the outfits of the day. I'm not kidding because I dress in a way that makes me feel good about myself, makes me feel fun, makes me smile. And, you know, if people think that's unusual when they see me, then that's too bad. You know, Rob is a dear friend who always tells me I look beautiful.
Somehow, I don't know how this has actually happened, but I've went as far as Chase's wardrobe's concerned. I've turned into a gay best friend.
Yeah, this is so
So,
funny.
somehow, I don't know how that happened, but it
Yeah,
has happened.
yeah, it has happened. Rob has become my gay best friend whom I share all my fashion with and details about the material and the color and my shoes and the tights. I don't know how that happened, but he's perfect at it. So,
There's nothing
you
wrong
know,
with being gay, but I'm not gay, by the way.
yeah, he's not gay, but he is my gay best friend when it comes to fashion. Because I don't have a gay best friend. So it's very lovely that he allows me to indulge in that with him. That I'm telling you right now, that's a best friend. All right, Rob. I think
Okay,
we've
well,
been here almost an hour. We've talked about all kinds of weird stuff too. Went down memory lane, and so I just want to say, whether it's 1 month, it's already been I think 3 weeks. 1 more month, 2 more months, 3 more months. Don't unsubscribe. Keep your notifications on. Come back and check every once in a while that you're still subscribed, because you will get a notification that that I've come back. I just it's a break, and I will miss you dearly. And if you want to send out a message, go ahead and send out a message to me. Put it on any video, whatever, and and so I can get it and we can have a chat. All right?
yeah,
And Rob too. If you want to talk to Rob, put a message on there, and I'll tell Rob he's got a message. That's how I always do. Somebody's left a message for you, Rob. So, feel free to do that. Feel free, uh, to tell me how you feel about this video, and if you know, and if somebody, you know, wants to talk, leave messages below. We'll talk about it. And you're not alone. Promise you that. Right? Rob, right?
yeah. Sorry, I heard something there.
That was me.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone. If you have got any, you want to leave any comments or anything like that, we will. Or like Tracy said, we will get back to you, and we
Yeah,
will start a conversation if that's what you want to do, or
yeah,
you're not on your own. Especially not especially, but men as well need to start sharing sometimes how they're feeling,
yeah.
because we don't do that enough.
I agree. So if you've listened to this whole thing, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And it's not goodbye. I'll see you soon. Okay, Rob?
Yeah.
And I'll probably see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye bye.